Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. This is going to be a low time frame video. A high time frame video is up above, so check that out if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Still looking for that bigger, higher time frame idea here, where we were saying that we are looking at the potential of seeing this as a flat correction. Now, within this idea, the fact that we've actually come down and pushed one more time here is indicating a couple of things here. So this could mean that within this count we have this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're actually going to start to see some extension to the downside here in this fifth wave, or this wave could effectively become another 1, 2, and we could start to see a bigger sell-off starting to continue to the downside. Now, the other thing that we need to be aware of is that if this is actually completed into this low over here of this 25,333, what I would be looking out for is the possibility that we could still be looking for a bigger complex corrective structure here. Now, what I would be saying here is that effectively this whole move here would actually then just become our A wave, and we could be looking for this blue B wave. Now, there's two zones that I'm looking out for. This 786, which is sitting at this 29,689, to this 50% level, which would be coming back into this high over here at this 28,024 zone. Now, within this, if we do actually complete this A wave into this low here, it is possible for us to start this corrective structure with a flat. Now, if we do get something like a flat here, what we could see is a bigger three-wave structure like this, looking to push us up either into this orange zone, or if this is going to become an overshooting B wave, I would be looking for this 33,548 to this 31K region as a potential target area for this. So we need to just be careful that, if we do start to see price starting to show a bit of strength here, we could be looking to form something like this B wave push to the upside. We also need to be careful though, because the more bearish idea here would be that effectively within this move that we've got to the downside here, that we could actually be looking at this as a bigger A, B and a C pattern. Once again, the same idea would apply here. We'd be looking at this potential as a low, and we'd be looking for something like this as a three-wave move to the upside. Once again, with this idea, I'd be on the lookout for something like a flat, where we could see a push back up into this 786, which would be this 30,284 to this zone here of this 28,366. Now, if this is going to develop as something like a flat correction, what I'd be looking out for is a five-wave move, which could actually look to push us into this common target area for a flat, which would be this 50% to this 382. Once again, this would be quite an interesting zone because of these highs over here. So we'll be keeping an eye on that if we do start to see price looking to show some impulsive structure pushing to the upside. We do have the potential that this move could look to extend out here. We're going to go over this shortly, but effectively, these are the higher time frame ideas. Now, it is also possible within this count that we could still be incomplete with this C wave to the downside. Now, within that idea, what we'd be saying is that this move here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, like I said, we need to be careful, because until we actually break this high here of this 28,142, we could still continue to see price looking to fall away here, where this move could actually just complete a B wave here, either where this is A, B and C, or alternatively still within this five-wave move, where we could start to get some extension within these waves here. And we need to just be very careful of this idea. So within that idea, we're going to go over the more bearish counts first, and then what we will need to see here for that push to the upside in a bigger corrective move. Now, within this idea, this is still valid. We were talking about this in the previous video. We were saying that if I come back up here and turn these CPR lines on, we were saying that, we had a retest of the weekly central lines here, but we hadn't actually interacted with the purple lines, which is the monthly CPR lines. And now we have had this. Now, the key thing here is that this could be quite a bearish sign if this actually rejects harder off this point. And what this could then mean is we could start to see price being gravitated back down towards this 23,990 level if we fail to start pushing up in a bigger way here and looking to find support on these monthly CPR lines. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. Now, like I said here, we're looking for the possibility of a wave 2. And the way that I'm currently looking at this structure, if we are looking at this as a potential wave 2, is we'd be looking for a flat correction. Now, in the previous video, what we were saying is that, we need to see whether we actually hold the support here. Otherwise, what we could be looking for is support to come down into this zone of this 25,333 to this 24,921. As we can see here, we came right down into this lower level here, and then we had a reaction to the upside. Now we have come up into our typical target box for this C wave already, which is here at this 26,689 to this level here, this 26,255. Now, the key thing that I'm looking for here is that this move potentially could be a completed 5-wave move into this high, in which case, if this is a flat, what we'd be anticipating is price to start to break to the downside. Now, it is possible that if this is a flat, we could actually look to start a bigger corrective move to the upside, where this actually just becomes our A wave, and then we would be looking for a B wave to the downside. Now, I've got two target zones that I'm going to be looking for this idea that this move could still look to push up one more time, but it would then require, you know, a bit of a move down first. Now, what I would be saying here is that this would be our A wave, when we would be looking for the potential of forming a bigger 3-wave move to the downside. So we have two target areas here. So this 28,883 to this 25,567 is going to be our higher target range. So this will be based off of this A wave here. Now, if we are looking at this idea where we're saying that we're going to get a move down into this level, I would be looking at this as an A, a B, and a C. Now we can see that currently the 1-to-1 is sitting here at the 25,474 level. Now, if we do see price looking to push back down into the zone, this would be quite interesting, because it would also be looking to retest this area once again, you know, after a move to the upside. If we do hold that as support, we do have potential to see price looking to continue to the upside. But the other alternative here is that we could see a deeper retracement if we're going to get something like a flat correction, where this is our A wave, we see an overshooting B wave. I'm still going to be looking out for this zone that, you know, even if we do come back into these previous lows here, we could still look to find support and look to progress up in a bigger ABC pattern, where effectively from these lows we could be looking for, you know, continuation to the upside still before a bigger push to the downside. The key thing within this idea is, within this idea of this being completed, is that if this is A, B, and C, or 1, 2, we'd be expecting price to break down and take these lows. Now, there is two ways that we can look at this move down if it does start to break down in that way. We've already gone over this idea that we could have this as 1, 2. Now, given the current high here, this would mean that we would need to see price actually move down towards this 22,414 level to confirm this third wave, which would then mean that we could potentially see price looking to push down towards this zone of this 22,070 to this 21,523 level. Now, the key thing within this idea is that if we start pushing down past 20,903, we'd have to be open to the idea that this could be 1, 2 here. This would all then become 3, 4, and 5. And then we'd still have an additional 4th and a 5th, and that would make this a bigger 5-wave move from the highs here. So we need to just be careful. If we do continue to break down here and move into this 1-to-1 level, would make it more likely that the move down is a diagonal, which we're going to go over in a second. But if we do start to break down in a bigger way and we start to see price looking to sell off quite impulsively, now in this idea where this would be 1, 2 again, effectively this idea of having, you know, this bigger sell-off here, because this would be our third wave and we would also have a flat correction here, this would mean that, you know, this sell-off would be quite a strong sell-off to the downside. So we need to be on the lookout for that. Invalidation of this comes by crossing this high here. So 28,142 is going to be that invalidation point. So if we are looking at this idea of this becoming a bigger complex structure here, where we're going to see a bigger B wave, what I want to see to just confirm that we can't extend down lower is actually taking this high over here. Until we do that, we need to be very careful of this more bearish scenario where we could have a bigger 5-wave drop like this, or alternatively, the other way we discussed this in the previous video is the possibility of a diagonal where this is ABC for wave 1, we have this as wave 2. Now we have this as an A wave, we're looking for our B wave and our C wave down. So this is why this this lower 1-to-1 level is going to become important here. I need to just adjust this to this high over there. Now, this would align with coming back into the trend line. As you can see here, this purple trend line is aligning with this 1-to-1 level currently now. So if we do see price form 3 waves down like this, we see a push down into this 23,925 zone, what I would be looking out for is the possibility that we could then see another 3-wave move to the upside, not crossing this high, and then seeing another 3-wave move to the downside, something like this. These trend lines have been drawn off of 2 points. I've drawn these two off of obviously this area here, and then we do have this higher yellow trend line as well. So I would be looking out for both of those levels as a possible 4th wave location if we do see something like this play out. Now, if we do start to push down past 22,379, this would invalidate the idea of a diagonal. Now, what would this diagonal mean here? So this diagonal would be playing into that idea that this is A, B, and C to the downside. And what that would say is that this is our ending move here. And then what we'd expect if we do have this as a flat is actually a break back above these highs. So going to be on the lookout for this idea, you know, that if we do continue to just see price staying in this area and just slowly grinding down in 3-wave structures, this could align with the idea of this diagonal before seeing some kind of a reaction to the upside. If we do get this diagonal play out, it's going to be important what happens if we do start to see bigger 5-wave structure where we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have that possibility that we could see price actually look to rally in a bigger way. Alternatively, if we do get a 5-wave move like this, 3 waves down, and we see a move like this where this just becomes a 3-wave move, that would tie into that bigger corrective structure that we went over earlier in the video. So it's going to be very important to see you know, what happens here and see whether, you know, this move actually holds these lows and we start to see a bigger reaction, or whether we start to break to the downside, because really within that bearish case now, we've got everything we need here for a bigger sell-off. If it fails to develop, then effectively, you know, it's going to be an early warning that, you know, if we do start to see this move break down and find support, and then we start to see price looking to move back up and we start to cross this 27,482 level, it's going to become more likely that actually we are looking for, you know, a bit of upside here potentially first, and then possibly a break to the downside after that point. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. You know, we do also have this idea here that if we do see that 3-wave move to the downside where this becomes A, B, and C, that we could just have this as a bigger corrective structure. Now this would align more with this idea here, where what we're saying is that effectively this is an A wave here, and we're looking for our B wave up into this zone of this 30,284 to this 27,610 region. So if we do start to see, you know, this move do this ABC, either I'm going to be looking out for the diagonal, which we're going to see a smaller 3-wave move and another 3-wave move down, or we could even see something like this where this becomes a bigger flat, and this is our A wave, this is our B wave, and we start to see this C wave to the upside. So this is why, you know, even if we do start to see a little bit of price action to the downside, I'm going to be very interested to see how we react around this lower level here of this 25,166 to this 24,113. Our 1-to-1 currently would actually be a little bit lower here, which would be sitting towards this zone here of this 23,932 level. So we're going to be keeping an eye on these different zones to see how we react if we do start to see price looking to sell off to the downside. Now it is also possible that this move could already be completed in a B wave over here, and we could be looking for a C wave to the upside, in which case what our target would be this zone of this 29,856 to this 28,608. And what we would be expecting to see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, looking to sweep this A wave high. If we do see a move up into this 1-to-1 level here, we'll also be watching out for that possibility that this could actually be a running flat, in which case we might not see the C wave actually break this A wave high here. And what we could rather see is that effectively we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is, with the size of this as a wave 1, it becomes more likely that we'd see a break of the high here, just because of the height that this has come. Now we're going to talk about the possibility that this could look to extend directly here to the upside. What we'd want to see here, if we're looking for this possibility of something like a breakout, is we'd be looking out for 2 things. So at the moment we have a 5-wave move to the upside here, which is all good and fine. Now this move to the downside here is just looking like a 3-wave structure. Now what I'm going to be looking out for is that as long as we stay in this zone of 26,393 to this 26,162, and we fail to break back above this high, we have the possibility here that we could still see price look to push down into this C wave location. Now 1-to-1 would currently be at the zone of this 25,440. What we do need to respect, however, here is that this move in itself has done enough to actually complete the correction. So if we do have something like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 here, we could start to see price looking to just break up directly. But for confirmation of that, we need to actually see a push up towards this higher level here of this 26,622 for an idea of that continuation, where this is actually becoming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we'd potentially have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and another 1, 2 here. Now the key thing is that within this idea here, we need to see the higher 1.618 level get hit. It is possible, like I said, if we stay in this B wave location here, that we could still continue to see move to the downside, where we could move more down one more time here and still look to test this lower zone here of the 786 to this 50% level. Now, invalidation of this idea of actually having a bigger break to the upside would be crossing this 24,901 level. If we cross this level, this actually, removes any possibility of this becoming a bigger impulsive structure. Now, within this idea, there's two things I'm looking for. So either this could become A, B, and C, which wouldn't really fit the count from further back here, to be honest with you. But it would be something that is still possible if this move is rather being W, X, and then we're getting a Y wave, for instance. That could be something that we need to be on the lookout for. So given our current low here, what we'd be looking for as a target would actually be this zone of this 27,487 if we see a direct push to the upside. If we do look for that impulsive target, it would be here at this 28,610. If first we see this move actually push to the downside first, what this would do is actually change the target area. We'd be looking for that 1-to-1 level of this 25,440 would make that 1-to-1 up here at this 27,143, and then our impulsive trigger up here at this 28,251 level. So it's going to be very important. We need to just respect the fact that at the moment there is potential we could have something like this as 1-2, 1-2, another 1-2. As long as we continue to hold these lows here, we could start to see price looking to rally directly. But at the moment, we just have a corrective structure to the upside. So that's why I've got this white count on here, where this could be A, B, C. We still need to push down one more time and then look for that push to the upside. So it's going to be very important how we react from this point. At the moment, we don't have good structure to say that, this move is a flat correction here and we're looking to break down, because at the moment we just have 3 waves down, 3 waves up. So the likely thing would then be, to see another move to the downside. And then it's going to be important if this support area holds. If this support area holds, we have that possibility of that bigger rally looking to play out here. And then if we do get a bigger rally like this, what we need to be a little bit careful of is that would actually look to push us into that higher target area here of this flat correction. So if we do see something like this, it could just be that this is A, B, and C, and then we could still see that continuation to the downside afterwards. If we want to see a trending move off these lows, what we'd want to see is effectively have this develop as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to see another 3-wave move down, looking to hold this low and looking to keep that 786 level, and then looking for continuation to the upside from that point. So that's what I'm going to be monitoring at the moment. This as a single 5-wave move up doesn't mean anything, because it could just be the C wave. If we're going to see corrective structure, this could be quite a bit more complicated to try and count moving forward. But we're going to have to just keep an eye on it and then, just follow the structure here. But really, until we actually take this high, we cannot ignore the idea that this could become 1-2 or ABC, and we could still see one more drop to the downside here first before any kind of upward momentum comes into play. Coming in here and having a look at the daily CPR lines, what we can see is that we are currently above our central line. Now this is indicating volatility, and what we do have above us as a potential target for as long as we remain above this would be this level of this 26,556. If we do see price looking to rally to the upside here, other targets for today would be this zone here of this 27,283, 27,988, 28,723 as possible upside targets for today. Now, if we do see price, however, starting to lose these central lines, we could see a pushback down towards some of these lower levels. 25,101 is going to be a target I'm watching. 24,401. If we lose that, 23,698, and this lower range here of this 22,979 as potential downside targets for today. Now moving over here and having a look at the weekly CPR lines, what we can see is that we've actually reclaimed these zones here. And now what I want to see is whether we actually see price looking to push back to the upside here. So we can see that these are very tightly spread. We've had an interaction with this S1 line already. Now what I want to see is that if we do see price looking to push back to the upside here, we could find resistance at this 26,402. If we start to clear this level, the next zone I'll be looking for would be 26,948, and this higher area here, this 27,478 as potential upside targets for this week. Now, we can see that we've actually met some of our downside targets here for this week as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how the price actually responds to being above the central lines here. If we do continue to lose these, other targets for this week I'll be looking out for would be 24,824 and this 24,266 as potential downside targets. Now this would align with that idea that this could become A, B, and C. So we're going to be keeping an eye on these lower levels if we do start to see price looking to push down into those zones. Now coming over here and having a look at the monthly pivots, what we can see is that we finally had an interaction with the lower line here of our central lines. Now if we do see price starting to fall away here, this could mean we could be gravitated towards this zone of this 24K, which would be our S1 line. Other targets to the downside should we start to lose those levels would be 22,000 and this 18,913 as potential downside targets for today. If we do look to actually manage to get back above these central lines, we do have possibility of finding resistance at 27K and this 27,715 level. If we fail to actually break through these, this could align with the idea of seeing that continuation to the downside. If, however, we start to break through them, other targets to the upside for this month would be 29,000, 32,172, and this 34,136 level, which we will be keeping an eye on if we do see price looking to break to the upside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.